Imagine a world where your own voice, the very frequency of your vocal cords, is no longer yours once it hits the internet. For the last 72 hours, Taylor Swift has been building a legal fortress to make sure that world never becomes a reality for her. We aren't just talking about taking down a few deepfakes or sending a cease and desist to a fan account. We are witnessing the first major land grab of the AI era. On April 24, 2026, Taylor's team filed to officially trademark the sound of her own voice and her specific visual likeness. This isn't just about protecting a song, it's about owning the concept of Taylor Swift in a court of law. In a move that legal experts are calling a digital perimeter, she is essentially trying to patent her identity so that if an AI even sounds a little too much like her, she can shut it down with the full weight of federal law. The factual recap of this legal escalation is centered on 3 specific filings with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. 2 of these are sound marks, a rare category usually reserved for things like the Netflix TRADEMARK or the NBC chimes. Swift is seeking to own the audio of her saying, "Hey, it's Taylor," and "Hey, it's Taylor Swift," clips originally recorded for Spotify and Amazon Music to promote her latest chart topper, The Life of a Showgirl. The newest development is that she's also trademarking a visual silhouette, the iconic image of her on the era's tour stage in a multicolored bodysuit with a pink guitar. By doing this, she isn't just suing people who use her photos, she is creating a legal no-fly zone around her entire aesthetic. If an AI generator produces an image of a blonde woman in that specific outfit, her lawyers can now argue it violates a federal trademark, not just a copyright. Public reaction to this has been a mix of industry genius and dystopian fear. Viral clips of intellectual property attorneys breaking down the filings have racked up millions of views, with the phrase "the Swiftie Shield" trending across X and TikTok. The social media debate is currently centered on the ownership of self. While her fans are largely supportive, seeing this as a necessary move after the horrific AI-generated deepfakes that targeted her earlier this year, others are worried about the precedent. On Reddit's music law threads, the discourse has shifted toward what this means for parody and AI covers. If Taylor owns the trademark to a voice that sounds like her, does that mean a fan can't even post a tribute song? For context, this move follows the passage of the Elvis Act in Tennessee, which was the first major step toward protecting artists' voices. But Taylor's federal filing takes that protection nationwide, bypassing state lines entirely. This situation escalated because the current laws are failing. For decades, artists relied on copyright, the idea that you own the recording. But AI has broken that model. An AI doesn't copy a file, it learns a style. This is everything about influencer and celebrity culture in 2026. Your value is no longer in what you do, but in your likeness. It affects Taylor's reputation by cementing her status as the final boss of the music industry. She isn't just playing the game, she's rewriting the rulebook to ensure that in a world full of confusingly similar AI clones, there is only one legally recognized Taylor Swift. At Original Commentary and Analysis, why does the Showgirl album matter here? Because that album cover, featuring Taylor in Las Vegas cabaret garb, has already been the subject of a reverse confusion lawsuit from a smaller artist named Marin Wade. Taylor has seen firsthand how brand overlap can lead to expensive legal battles. By trademarking her voice and era's look now, she is essentially saying, "I am the senior user of this identity, and everyone else is just an imitation." It's a masterclass in preemptive IP strikes. She is identifying her most vulnerable assets, her voice and her stage presence, and surrounding them with a legal electric fence before the AI models can fully ingest her 2026 tour data. Maintain a conversational tone, but let's look at the soundmark logic. It's a punchy, aggressive evolution of celebrity branding. Short, punchy sentences in the legal blogs describe it as the death of the impersonator. Slower, more analytical tone during the breakdown of these filings reveals that Taylor is looking at the confusingly similar standard. In trademark law, you don't have to prove someone stole your file, you just have to prove they made something that might confuse a customer. If an AI ad uses a voice that sounds like Taylor to sell a product, she doesn't have to prove it is her voice, she just has to prove it sounds enough like her trademarked voice to confuse a Swiftie. It's a significantly lower bar for her lawyers to clear, making her almost untouchable by unauthorized commercial AI. We have to clearly separate the confirmed details from the online theories. It is a confirmed fact that TAS Rights Management filed these 3 applications on April 24, 2026. It is a confirmed fact that Matthew McConaughey has taken similar steps for his all right catchphrase. The online theories, however, are speculating that Taylor is planning to launch her own verified AI service where fans can pay to use her trademarked voice for their own content, effectively colonizing the AI space instead of just fighting it. Fans are theorizing that these filings are a direct response to a secret AI Taylor album that was supposedly being shopped around by a rogue tech company. There is also a viral theory that her Life of a Showgirl tour will feature a hologram Taylor that uses these trademarks as a legal basis to prevent anyone from filming or replicating the hologram's performance. The analytical tone of the federal versus state battle is the most fascinating part of the 2026 landscape. Slower, more thoughtful threads on LinkedIn are discussing how Taylor is forcing the U.S. government's hand. By filing these trademarks, she is essentially demanding that the USPTO decide, is a voice trade, or is it being? If the USPTO grants these marks, every major influencer, singer, and actor will follow suit within 48 hours. We could be looking at a future where identity registration is the first thing a child does when they go viral. It's a vocal gold rush. And Taylor just planted the biggest flag. This leads us to a bigger industry question. Is this the end of the homage? If a voice can be trademarked, what happens to the next generation of singers who are naturally influenced by Taylor? If they sound too much like the "Hey, it's Taylor" mark, do they face a federal injunction before their first single even drops? It's a fine line between protection and monopoly. The upcoming response possibility is a legislative endorsement. Expect Taylor to appear, either via video or in person, before a congressional committee in the next few weeks to advocate for a federal No AI Fraud Act. She has used her trademark filings as a shot across the bow, but her end goal is likely a national law that makes her voice ownership a human right, not just a business one. The future impact of this will be seen in the terms of service for AI companies. If Taylor wins these trademarks, companies like OpenAI and Google will have to build swift filters into their systems to ensure no user can generate audio that triggers a trademark violation. She is effectively making herself unclonable by making the clones too expensive to defend in court. The unresolved tension is the global gap. While Taylor might secure these rights in the US, the AI models being trained in Brazil, China, or Russia aren't bound by USPTO filings. We've already seen viral AI Taylor tracks in Brazil that Spotify struggled to remove. The digital perimeter only works if the walls are high enough globally. Ultimately, Taylor Swift moving to trademark her voice and likeness isn't just about a pop star protecting her brand. It's a story about the last stand of the authentic human. By the time these trademarks are either granted or denied, we'll know if we still live in a world where your identity belongs to you, or if it belongs to whoever has the best algorithm. Taylor has made her choice. She'd rather be a trademark than a deepfake. Do you think a person's voice should be allowed to be owned as a business trademark, or does that open a dangerous door where only the rich can afford to own their own identity? Let's talk about it in the comments.